back with the pack, Halloween edition. It's Ben.
I'm Jack.
I'm Chase.
I'm Maria.
I'm Elise.
I'm Paige.
And today we're going to be discussing Montauk's growth throughout Fahrenheit 451.
Alright, what do you guys think the first moment in the story that started to show Montauk is changing?
I think the first thing was when he bumped into Clarice, and Clarice, it was a very small interaction, but she, just got him thinking and, sparked curiosity in him with, one simple question of, are you happy?
Yeah, I agree. I think that Montauk, in the beginning, he kind of just went through life, not thinking of anything, not questioning anything, and just, one small conversation and her asking just, one simple question, are you happy, got him thinking a lot about who he was as a person.
Yeah, because, in the beginning of the book, he talked, about how much he enjoyed his job, just fire itself, and then how, his life lacked, meaning, kind of, living with Mildred, that was, very, depressing, and then talking with Clarice, it kind of opened, a different, path for him.
Yeah, from the start, he thought he had a happy life with his job and his life, and after his interaction with Clarice, he really rethought that and realized he really wasn't that happy.
Yeah, his immediate reaction, she asked, are you happy? He went home, he was like, yeah, I am happy. And then he thought about it, really thought about it, and he was like, no, I'm not happy at all.
When you think about it, no one in the society knows what happiness necessarily is.
Mhm.
They're just told that this is
It's an expression of happiness.
yeah, it's just, not even, it's just normal. It's just normal for them.
Yeah, because there is no sad. So
Yeah,
if there's
exactly.
no sad, there's no happy.
'Cause they really don't have any emotion because how they're supposed to live is kind of told to them. And you kind of mentioned this, but it's they kind of showed it with a little bit of symbolism when they were talking about his uniform of his helmet. Their whole lives are a uniform. Everything they do is told, they're told how to think, what to do, his job. It's so just you burn down the house with the books, that's it. And then you have someone like Clarice who comes along and she doesn't follow that uniform. And she starts to tell him that, and he starts to look at himself and see that he just has the uniform on and realizes that I have no meaning.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very apparent throughout this part of the book that Montauk's never met a person like Clarice. Clarice doesn't give him respect when she sees his badge on his arm throughout the book. So Montauk notices things about Clarice, her house is always loud and with talking and laughter, and her house just always beams out of light when every else house is dark.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
Yeah.
She's thought of as weird.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Unique in
Montauk-
society.
Abstract.
Montauk directly says, I'm inclined to believe you need a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
People who think
she
that are thought
she
of as
does
crazy.
see a therapist.
Yeah.
That's she's different. I think just because she thinks outside of the box, she's different.
And we know from a short reading we did on the pedestrian, which is her uncle, he was arrested for just simply walking, and she needs to see a psychiatrist. And there's and they're considered I forget the word, but they're considered laggers in time,
Yeah.
that they won't evolve at the time.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems that being unique in the society and not following, I guess, the norms, it makes you bad and not good for the society.
Yeah, and we're saying thinking outside of the box, but honestly she's thinking like a normal person would. But they're taking that as she thinks too much, she talks too much.
She's more knowledgeable than most.
She's the average person in our society.
Yeah, and they say later knowledge is what kind of tears people apart. Knowledge is if everyone doesn't think the same or doesn't think too much, then you can't have opinions on things. And if you don't
It's
have opinions,
conflict.
yeah,
They
if you
don't
have
want conflict
opinions,
in
you can't be
society.
offended.
And that's very much what Montauk's job is about, whether he knows the true meaning behind it, because Clarice does say, I heard a rumor a long time ago that it's about you guys used to save houses, but now he burns the books, which the government knows is the knowledge, and the government knows they want to keep people just living the same life, so they're burning any knowledge of them of a different life. But Clarice, for whatever reason, has that knowledge. She causes Montauk to start thinking about it, and he slowly starts building up the interest. So
I think we can say that just his small interaction with Clarice already changed him so much. And then I think the next event that changed him was the house, the burning of the house. That's something that changed him morally. When he saw the woman not leaving his house or her house while it was burning down.
That like raised another question of why is this woman so like so intent on
Yeah,
staying
so
with
like
books?
connected to her books
Yeah.
that she needs to stay
Why are
with
they
them.
so important? Like
Yeah.
no one else thinks of them that way. Why does she?
I think that's what inclined him to just snatch a book, and of course, because he wants to see what was the value she was putting in these books, that was more than her life, and of course he grabbed one, and then I think that kind of goes to another character of Beatty. I think Beatty really changed the way he views things because I think Beatty tried to be when Montag stole it because Beatty knew, of course, because he came to his house and he said to him like, "These are the rules. If you have a book," and I think Beatty was trying to get to him, and I wonder if it's like, did Beatty know? Did Beatty have the knowledge? And did he just choose to be part of a society like that?
Yeah.
I think he did because as he was having like the conversation with Montag, he was like quoting books
Yeah,
the
no.
whole time. So he definitely had knowledge, like read books and stuff. But I think he just chose to stay within society or like maybe survive within society because then it
Yeah.
goes from like he was antagonizing Montag to like kill him. Like
Yeah,
so like it's hard to say like where he stood, but he definitely knew things.
'Cause-
He was definitely knowledgeable.
it could be that Beatty was. I mean, he's just been like institutionalized because he's been around for so long. But it also could be that he shows that like you need to do this to stay alive in society because right now.
Faber did the same thing too.
Yeah, and Montag just is a more destructive personality and he wants to do something, but he could have made the choice and then he might actually just believe that books are bad and he might know about it.
Yeah.
One thing I like noticed during the conversation Montag had with Beatty is it sounded like Beatty's been through it like multiple times. He used like phrases like the fireman's itch to describe how like every fireman goes through this point in his life. He also seemed to have it down to a sort of a science. So
Yeah, I agree with Ben because like it seems like he's been going through this, and I think you can tell that Montag is kind of going through it too. So he wants to like paint the picture for him and try to get him to like change his ways.
Yeah, because we see it as like Montauk is so different for thinking outside of the box, but then we're told that so many other people go through the same thing. So it kind of shows that even though everyone acts this way, they're still curious. People are still curious.
I think one of the things we have to figure out is if you want to think that they're all the same, like what different makes Montag different. I think it's either one of the events of like one his unhappy marriage, or it might be his relationship with Clarice that really allows him to think. Maybe the other firemen have these moral moments where they see the women get burnt, but they don't have Clarice to actually spark like the change of like I need to do something. And I wonder, or if it's just Montag's personality, he just happened to be that 1 in 100 who decided to.
Yeah. So we see him after Beatty comes to visit. He's starting to question his job. He's talked with his wife Mildred about quitting his job, and now he wants to read a ton of books. So I guess why does he want to read the books now?
I think that he wasn't like when he first opened up the book, he like didn't understand it. So like the more he felt he could read, the more he would understand it and the more he would remember.
And then also like there was that connection with Mildred, like opening the books, having the book, and like there was something different for them to like get along with or like bond with, because they lived the same day, like they lived the same lives every day, nothing changed. So now that there's like a book introduced, maybe this will like bond them in a way.
Yeah, because he says like we're in this together. You can't leave this now, even though they've never been close in the sense of they're married, but they sleep in separate beds. Like they don't really talk.
They don't even know where they met.
Yeah.
And I think something about Mildred, I know we're talking about people, a lot of these people, we think Montag's different, but he's not. You can almost say that with Mildred. I mean, Mildred, I think she knows she's not happy because she did try to kill herself
Yeah.
But
with the sleeping pills.
Also like, that's like a thing within society. People die like mostly from suicide.
Yeah, that's so
Like that 'cause-
normalized.
because
The conversation with the wives.
Yeah.
I
Like
mean,
they talked about how people don't die in war; they die when they come back.
Yeah, and
Which-
the EMTs when they were pumping her stomach, they're like, we get 7 of these calls a night. Like this is nothing.
I
new.
mean, they weren't even doctors. They were.
Yeah.
Their job was literally to do that. And with the, I mean, and I think the thing is, I think the wives, when they said people don't die from war, I mean, us hearing that, we can obviously think like, obviously they're dying from the effects of war,
Yeah.
because you don't just come back and kill yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they truly believe that people just kill themselves because they still don't have they don't have any way of like comprehending information.
Yeah.
But like they're so limited, like through knowledge, that they don't have the capacity to like make rational decisions, and like it's really shown with Montag, like through each step and each event that he like faces, he can't process those emotions, so it always like turns out in a destructive like manner.
And
Yeah.
even with like them killing themselves, I just don't think they realize that what they're doing is so harmful because they don't understand life necessarily. They don't have the happiness or the sadness of life, and so they don't cherish it. So dying doesn't mean anything to them. They don't.
Mhm.
They don't really care.
Well, they don't know. Like
Yeah.
it's not till the end of the book where we know that Mildred is like
Real.
has that realization.
Especially because there's no beliefs. There's no religion. So nobody has any ideas.
Yeah. If you don't know what the value of like life is, you can't have a value of life. And like we know, like they really don't think there is any value to life, because like when Clarice was talking early in the book, she was saying like kids just kill them, they just kill each other like it's nothing.
Mhm.
Like the parents were talking, they were like, oh, I hope I get to see my kid twice a month. They have to see him. They don't even want
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
and they're not worried if the kid dies.
Even when like Clarice died by the car, she just like they didn't care. They just normalized it. They're like, oh, the girl got hit by a car.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
They moved on with their life.
So we can see that Montauk, through the events of meeting Clarice and through the house fire, just those two things completely changed his perspective. So that's a wrap on the first episode.
In the next institution of our podcast, we talked about how Beatty and Faber had an influence on Montauk and changed him throughout the book. Beatty also works at the fire department. He is in some ways Montauk's boss. He is against reading, but it seems very apparent in the book that he has tried it himself. He allows Montauk some time to experience reading, and he believes Montauk will find that it's not all it's cracked up to be. He believes Montauk will realize the way society is now is perfect and that reading is not needed in his life. Montauk actually goes against this and realizes that Beatty has not been a great person to him and doesn't go along with his mindset. Faber is an old reader that Montauk found at the park one day and saw him reading a book. Montauk, a fireman, it is his duty to report this and go against this. But Montauk let it happen, kind of. He didn't report him and was more intrigued than actually upset. Later on, when Montauk is trying to discover his liking for reading and go against the government, he calls back Faber and asks him about the book. Faber is skeptical at first because he knows Montauk is a fireman and instantly hangs up. After some convincing and a little bit of threatening, Montauk convinces Faber to help him. Faber allows Montauk to discover reading and also get Montauk out of society. Faber and Beatty have huge influences on Montauk and the way he lives.